Hey everyone, it's Eddie Marathon. I'm a runner from Birmingham, Michigan. I'm so glad you could join me here on day 11 of ZENVEDA. You know, this weekend is going to be a fun weekend. I'm looking forward to it already because here in suburban Detroit, there's an event called the Dream Cruise. Yeah, the Dream Cruise. It celebrates the rich heritage of the Motor City. And this was started some 20 some odd years ago. It actually was a bit informal, and then it became organized, and a group of people got behind it, and now it's become a huge event where basically classic car owners and hot rod owners and all kinds of fancy car owners will drive up and down this major avenue of Detroit that goes all the way out to the suburbs here in Birmingham on Woodward Avenue. It's called the Woodward Avenue Dream Cruise, and it's going to be a lot of fun. There is going to be a couple of million people lining Woodward Avenue this entire weekend. Cars will be going up and down. It's now televised. I mean, it went from basically a home-spun kind of festival organized really just ad hoc by a bunch of folks some 20 years ago to, you know, kind of a major production right now. And it got me thinking about my, hello. Mackenzie and Marcia just got back from a walk with Zipper, my dog. And I got thinking about, you know, my first, it's not my first car, but it's the first car that really made a huge lasting imprint on me as a kid. Yeah, I was a little tyke. My dad, he worked in the city of Chicago, and I lived in the suburbs of Chicago. And so what he would do is he would take the train to get to work. So he just needed a commuter car to get from the house to the train station, only about a mile and a half away. And one day he decided to buy a car on the way home, which is very unusual for him because usually he would involve my mom in such decisions as this, you know, a major purchase. But this particular one, he felt like he had a deal, and he didn't want this car to get away. It was a very unusual car. It was a convertible 1967 Karmann Ghia made by Volkswagen. And I remember he drove it home. I was just so little. And he pulled in the driveway. My mom was having a fit, and I was in the driveway when he came home. And I looked at the car, and I started laughing at the thing. I mean, the thing is really kind of an unusual looking car. Just look up, you know, on the internet, Volkswagen Karmann Ghia. And we had a very kind of a putrid looking color. It was like this odd cream color. Didn't know if it wanted to be yellow or beige. It was a very odd color. You know, my dad, no sense in his style, but he definitely had a sense of adventure. And he drove this thing home, never had a convertible in his life. And this is a little car, you know. Runs basically on a glorified lawnmower engine. And he pulls up, and I laughed at the car. I was like, oh, as a little boy would. And as a result, the name of the car became affectionately known as the Ho-Ho car. We loved the car. We really did. My sister, my dad, my mom, we ended up just taking that car everywhere. And my dad was also a big volunteer, and he coached my Little League team. And I remember, talked about how times have changed. We would finish a ball game, and he would pile the whole team into the Karmann Ghia. You know, put the top down, had kids in the car, had kids with their butts on the edge of the back seat, other kids, you know, on the front hood, other kids on their butts on the trunk with their feet on the bumper, the back bumper, and he'd drive very slow, and he'd go, I don't know, a mile or so to the local Dairy Queen. I remember we got pulled over by a cop, and the cop's like, "What are you doing?" My dad's like, "Everything's fine." The kids loved it. The kids loved my dad. We went to Dairy Queen, goofed off, didn't care if he spilled in the car at all. Who cared? But it was just a lovable car. And I remember in the winter, it was just so freezing cold sometimes in Chicago. And I remember I had to take the train to go to my high school, which was on the outskirts of Chicago, and I would take the train with my dad. So we would drive the car to the station, and I remember the heat was basically just glorified heat coming off the engine. We just froze in that damn car, but we loved it. We absolutely loved it. And in the summer, we always had a top down. and had one of those really crappy plastic windshields in the back that yellowed and faded and cracked, but we didn't care. I wanted that car so badly as my first car once I got my driver's license, but it didn't make it, unfortunately. It rusted out. And now these cars are considered classic, and if you look at some television shows, you'll see some, every once in a while you'll see somebody remake one. But the Karmann Ghia, the ho-ho car, maybe I'll see one here in the Dream Cruise. I'll be sure to record this weekend and share a little bit more with you, but I wanted to tell you my boyhood story of the ho-ho car. Thanks for joining me. Now go run your miles, enjoy your life, okay, and share your gifts with the world.